My friends, welcome to episode 56 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I am the Prof Larry, and over there is the Dev.
Anthony.
How's it going over there, Anthony?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
What?
Weekend's coming to a close, but
Good weekend?
yeah, carved pumpkins this afternoon.
Awesome. Yeah, Halloween's in a week, man. Shoo.
It is.
Crazy.
I'll post pictures of my kids when their
Awesome.
costumes are done.
Cool.
It's game related.
Still, my favorite Halloween costume of all time was your kid as a lobster in a pot.
I wish I could say I thought of that originally,
Yeah.
but we can pass that along. That it's a very fun Halloween costume for a sub 1-year-old.
Yeah, super awesome. Especially when they can't, not walking around, just chilling in a pot.
Just chilling in a pot with a lobster hat on.
That's awesome. Well, this weekend was good for us too. I don't know if we told you, or I told you, but we're doing Blue Apron. So we get a box on Friday, and we have 3 meals that we cook during the weekend, and it's just super good food, super easy to cook, and like healthy, and a lot cheaper than us going out, which we usually would go out to eat all the time. So we do a lot of that, and played some softball tonight. Won again, held it down, pitched a complete game again. Pretty happy.
Nice.
Life is
Well
good.
done.
Yeah.
You did it. You did a game night too. I saw.
Oh,
with some
Jesus Christ.
fun.
In
In fact, we can talk about that later on what you're playing. But,
yeah.
There was some fun pictures from that.
I'll talk about it during what we're playing, but Jackbox Party Pack 3 came out this week, and man, is it rad. It's super rad. We always have our friends come over and play that game and just laugh, thousands of laughs a minute. It's really good.
Did not disappoint. It looked like.
Not disappointing, especially when you can create your own stuff, but I'll get into that later. Stay tuned because it's hilarious. But today, wow, we got lots of... this was a big news week. We finally heard about the NX. We're going to talk about that for our discussion. And we've got some news about Red Dead Redemption 2. They've decided to go with the 2, even though it's the third game in the series in some way. So they can get us to stop people like me to stop saying, it's the third one, guys. And then we're going to talk about what we're playing, and then we're going to get to the internet basically shutting down. I guess it was yesterday or Friday.
It was Friday. It was very odd.
Right. So we'll start with the Nintendo Switch, which is the name for the NX, and I kind of want to get your opinion, your reaction to this video, basically.
Well, the video I have different reactions to. Lots of different things, but if the actual console, take my money now.
Just throw it at the screen.
Just throwing it. Just give it. I want it.
Okay. And I'm playing it in the background right now in case the audience is wondering what the music is about.
The video itself, I think it did fine. It's just funny when I look at it. I'm like, hey, it's targeted towards rich millennials.
Isn't that weird? It's like, okay.
It was also filmed in Vancouver, BC.
It looks like when I was watching this, I was like, this looks like it's in Vancouver.
It is. It's all around Vancouver. Like, it looked like Vancouver when I first saw it, and then I found somewhere linked online where someone actually took shot for shot, where it was in actual Vancouver. Okay. So, like, the house at the opening, they have a picture of that house.
Wow.
Where, like, there's a ton of stuff I'm just like, right, okay, Vancouver is where it's been filmed, and there are no kids ever in there. The very first one, where it's the dude and he's taking his dog out for a walk.
Yeah.
My wife saw it and she's like, that was a bit disturbing. Your dog wants to go for a walk, so you take your game with you while your dog takes a piss.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, and then she said that, I'm like, yeah, that does seem a little excessive.
You could let just pause the fucking game, you know?
Go outside, take care of your dog.
Right.
You have responsibilities. You do not need to take the device with you.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Well, it's interesting what you mentioned about, it's kind of geared toward rich millennials, and the whole framing of this video told me 2 things. One, there's not a single kid in the entire video. This is not, at least initially, being marketed towards kids or the kid market,
Nope.
Second, the way to get your friends to join you playing this is to go find them, like physically find them on a rooftop or at a party or whatever. But you can't message your friends through the Switch to say, hey, let's play a game. You have to go find them in the world. So I'm hoping they have some sort of messaging system on the thing.
I assume they will.
Yeah.
although it's Nintendo, let's see how well
Oh god.
they do on their multiplayer backend service. Although they've learned some with Miitomo and moving forward there, like they clearly have a unified backend now.
Well, and this part of the video that's playing right now is them playing Splatoon. So that means they've got gyro, because the way to play Splatoon is with motion controls. So I'm assuming the Joy-Con A and Joy-Con B have gyro or something.
Well, whenever you look at it, on that Pro Splatoon thing,
Yeah.
they pick up a Pro controller.
Oh, you're right. They pick up a Pro controller. And it's interesting. They've got the offset analog, just like Xbox.
Yeah,
Which I think is a first for Nintendo.
it really is. I'm curious. I mean, honestly, it's probably come down to just ergonomics more than anything.
Yeah.
And the Joy-Con controllers are kind of strange since they have to function as separate individual controllers too.
Right,
like
when they
mini
flip them
controllers.
sideways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which has got to be uncomfortable as fuck. That does not look
I
uncomfortable.
assume we'll see. It's a cute idea though.
It's
Like
a cute
that,
idea,
yeah.
no, for sure, and it's great for like tiny Japanese hands. Like I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
Like my
Did
students
you see
would be fine.
someone talking about like I hadn't thought of it, but there'll probably be different Joy-Con controllers for different games.
There's got to be. Like it's gonna be packed in with the game, right? Like you get the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Joy-Cons. Like it's got to be.
That actually has like a different shape, maybe.
A different
Like
shape,
it-
or even just aesthetics. Like it has a different design. Like that's money on the table, Nintendo. That's a freebie from all of us to you.
Yeah. I saw one online that was like a Resident Evil game, and the right hand Joy-Con is more like a gun trigger.
Oh, nice.
Like actually like changing and having like a button that makes it feel like more like when you're shooting a revolver in that game.
Oh, that's cool.
Just all sorts of stuff. Someone made little sketches, and I'm like, oh, I bet this is where it's going.
Question for you about the name. How do you feel about Switch?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Even after a couple days, I'm like, yep, all right, I'll call it the Switch. It's cool.
Yeah, it just makes sense to me. Like you're switching between like the TV and the handheld, and switching out the controllers, and I don't know, it makes sense. It's
and the
simple.
fact that they're just calling it Nintendo Switch, and I kind of feel like any name's going to get panned somewhat, but it's one syllable.
Yep.
Quick to say, easy to remember. Like if you're just thinking of the console, oh, what's it called? It does exactly what it needs to do. Just be quick, off the tongue, go.
And I feel like it sets up this marketing campaign for them where showing people playing PC or PS4, Xbox, and then like a Nintendo guy bursts in and says, "Hey, let's switch it up," and then start playing the Switch.
Oh man, that'd be the '90s right there.
Oh my god, I could totally see him doing that. We want you to play. Yeah. Well, at least they didn't call it the fucking Wii Switch. Oh,
that's true.
Oh my god.
They could have. They totally could have.
That would have been terrible. So,
what is other news? I mean, there's been a lot coming out on this thing.
Okay, so
even since the release.
Right. So some of the other news is it's obviously not backwards compatible with 3DS or Wii U. Duh, it doesn't have a way to spin the discs.
Yeah.
There's speculation that the gamepad itself is 720p, and then when you hook it up to the console, like when you dock it, there's some sort of extra processing power that boosts it to 1080. I think that's speculation at this point.
They have said that Nintendo has said through the Famitsu article that the dock does not provide any additional
Oh man.
Power to the console. Like
sucks.
It's a dock.
Okay, that sucks.
Why?
Because do you think that the gamepad is 1080p?
No, I think the gamepad's 720p, but it can output 1080 when it's docked.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think they're using a smaller screen so they can have it last longer on battery.
Oh yeah, of course.
And make it cheaper to actually make the screens.
So
doing a 1080. So I think it'll just run 720 on the
handheld.
When you're using it as handheld, and then it will just output what it can do once it's like, hey, I don't have to worry about battery or draining.
So you're saying that it's going to up-res to 1080?
No. So I think it'll be native 1080.
Okay, so I'm confused then. Walk me through this. If it's native 1080 when it's docked.
Yeah.
Okay. then why wouldn't it be 1080 on the handheld? Because the screen doesn't.
The screen is not
that dense.
Because the screen's not that dense.
Okay, got it.
It's just like you're running your PS4 into a 720 TV.
Oh, that's what you do when you stream it to your computer, anyways. It's 720 max. Yeah. Okay.
It's nothing like we'll just do it at a lower resolution.
And
it would make sense, honestly, because like I said, that would save them some processing power when it's not docked, so that you don't have to have such a high power draw on the battery.
If you were to guess how long the battery would last, where would you weigh in at?
Probably somewhere around 3 hours.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Heavy gaming.
Right.
I'm taking that from an iPad kind of estimate. So the latest iPads, then like 9.7 inch ones, they can go with heavy. So if you're just using it normally, it's 60% brightness, moderate internet activity. It can go about 8 or 9 hours.
Okay.
But if you switch to playing a pretty like 3D intensive game on it with higher brightness on the screen, you'll eat through the battery in about 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
So, and I figure this will be roughly that.
Yeah, I see 3 hours as well. And obviously, I think there would be an easy way to plug it into power. So if you're on a plane and you can plug it into an outlet, you could just, or next to your bed or whatever. The raddest thing about this, because for people who have a Wii U, that range for the gamepad blows. Like, you can't really take it anywhere. But there's no streaming. It's just that's the console. So you could literally take it anywhere.
Yeah, which that video shows. Which
exactly.
It's cool. Like,
take it at your party on the rooftop.
Exactly. I've never been to a rooftop party.
Well, you will.
I feel disappointed now.
Once you have a Nintendo Switch, you'll go. You'll be invited.
I'll be invited. I can just wave out my window and be like, come on over.
Jesus. There was that Polygon article that the Nintendo Switch won't have second gameplay screen, so it's either TV screen or gamepad, not both. Which
that does not surprise me if the console is all in the handheld.
Right. That's so awesome. I'm so excited about that because the Wii U you played it with the second screen experience, and it's just the 3DS. If they're both in front of you, that makes sense. But like the gamepad in front of you and the TV way in the back, away from you, it doesn't make any sense to switch back and forth.
No, I agree. It's fine. I don't know why anyone would. The only way I could see someone thinking earlier that it was going to be able to do both was thinking that the dock was a console in itself.
Right.
And it's not. So. Which actually, if the dock is really just, I said, power and like connectors.
Yeah.
Those will probably be pretty cheap.
The Switch in general, the dock.
The dock.
Yeah, right.
So buying another additional dock for different places in your house probably will be very cheap in comparison to the overall console.
I didn't think about that, because I could have one for my computer hooked up to the HDMI and have one for my TV and just like pop back and forth between them.
Yep.
Nice.
Really, it's kind of just a big power supply.
Yeah. So if you were to estimate a price. No. Let's not. Hold on a second. Let's not get the price first. Power. So let's say like PS3, 360, PS4, Xbox One. Where does this come in at?
Between those.
Okay. Which is kind of where the Wii U was. Well, Wii U was kind of PS3, Xbox One.
Yeah, I
or
think
Xbox 360.
Yeah, it will be lower performance than like a PS4 or an Xbox One. But it's definitely going to be better than a PS3. So that's kind of where I figure it's going to be somewhere in the middle there. Good enough, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's good enough. I think that they're not, I don't think they're playing the power game anymore. The arms race for power. I think some people will poo-poo it because it's not as strong as what's out there now, and especially when.
But I can just pick it up and take it wherever I want.
You could play. Apparently, according to this video, you can play Skyrim wherever you want, because looks like fucking Skyrim.
It's Skyrim.
Well, Bethesda has not confirmed it, but that's Skyrim, right?
Bethesda's listed as one of the developers.
They're a partner, right? Yeah.
Yep. Which actually, I was supposed to put that list up here. The partner list is pretty.
Oh, let's see if we can.
Pretty fantastic.
Can you pull it up real fast?
Yeah, I think I just missed it.
While you're doing that, one more thing that kind of okay, so I'm sold as long as the launch lineup is solid because I have a Wii U. If the launch lineup is just Wii U games, I don't really need to jump on in the first 6 months. But if they've got new stuff, that I mean, for example, the Mario Kart, it's not Mario Kart 8 because there are item switching. There's item switching that's not in Mario Kart 8. The King Boo, which is not in Mario Kart 8. So either they're revamping Mario Kart 8 or if they're smart, they're going to put out Mario Kart Switch.
And it'll be Double Dash 2.
It'll be Double Dash 2, exactly right.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Please.
And they showed a Mario game in there that is clearly more based on Mario 64.
Yep.
So, is it a launch game? Who knows?
As long as it's
probably won't learn that for a little bit. But.
Yeah, for me, I just need the launch lineup. Like, I need to know that the first 6 months, like every month maybe or every 2 months, there's a solid game from Nintendo coming out. Like, I don't know. Don't leave it to die.
So, I mean, looks like all the publishers are really here. Activision is here, Arc System Works, Atlas, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, EA, From Software.
That's crazy. They're gonna port over what? Dark Souls? What's?
Yeah, they could do the Dark Souls if Namco, Bandai, and From are there. I mean, they could theoretically do Dark Souls 3 if they wanted to, or any of the other ones.
And that would be so rad. I know that people are gonna say, "Well, I can play those games on another console with more power." And that's true. With this console,
but I can now take them
exactly.
with me.
You can play Skyrim on a plane. You can play Dark Souls 3 on a plane. Like that is gonna sell this thing.
It means something.
Alone.
That really means something.
It does.
Level 5 is on here. Konami.
Is Retro on there? Probably.
Retro is not.
Well, we know they're making stuff for the NX or the Switch, so.
Yeah, I mean are they second party?
Yes, they're second party.
Third party, so they don't need to be on. This is
third party.
Not all third party.
Yeah,
so Square Enix, Sega's on here.
They fucking
Take-Two.
Which, I mean, is that... Hopefully it's not just NBA 2K for Take-Two. Hopefully there's something else.
Who knows? But Telltale?
Oh, nice. They need... I'm just so excited to play, like, these AAA games on the go. That's fucking rad. That's enough. I wouldn't even dock this thing. I would just play with a freaking handheld.
And the big thing for me as a developer, both Unity and Epic with Unreal 4 both have already announced support for it.
Nice.
So the two major engines that games are built, third-party engines that games are built on, are going to be on it. So expect a lot of games to be able to come across.
And does it matter that it's a NVIDIA Tegra chip, like as opposed to it's not x86, right?
No, it still is. A Tegra
it is.
Chip still
okay.
kind of functions the same way.
Okay.
It's just a different GPU. Like there's certain shader stuff you can't do. You have to be very careful on certain effects, but those engines will take care of it. Cool. So, I mean, a lot of people will be able to, like I said, it's not going to be as powerful as a PS4, but you'll still be able to get some good quality video out of it.
Well, and if you're able to play these AAA games on the go, even if it's 720p, as long as it's not chugging, as long as the frame rate is there, like that's solid. That's great. Price. Where do you see this coming in at?
300.
300. Wow, that would make my decision really easy.
Yeah, I don't see Nintendo going higher than that.
Okay.
Because what was the Wii U? Was the Wii U 300?
No, it was when I bought it was 350.
Just the console, or did that have other things in it?
It was bundled with the game.
Right. So I think 3
with
no game.
3 with no game. Okay.
Or a demo thing, like.
Oh yeah.
Because the Wii launched at 250. I think the Wii launched at 250.
And it came with the sports, right?
Yeah, I mean, which, for all intents and purposes, Nintendo was treating that as a demo.
As a demo, yeah, right.
It wasn't. I don't think they were expecting it to sell that console.
Right. Their demo disc was this console seller, basically.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was all just mini games. There was no, like, huge overarching thing to Wii Sports. It was just like, let's play tennis, let's play bowling. Like,
Well, that's another thing about the video that was interesting is that you didn't see any Mii's in the video.
No.
None of that crap. Which it probably might still be there, but
I'm sure it is. They didn't show any of the
UI.
What the UI is and like what's it like to launch games, anything like that. And I would expect it's similar to. Well, it's not going to have. Well, the screen. I've heard rumors is touchscreen.
The right what her name is, Video Game Girl 60 or something, who leaked everything and she was right. So everything was right, and she leaks a lot of Nintendo stuff, and I can't remember her name. Damn it! But it's a multi-touch screen.
Honestly, then I expect the UI is going to be either multi-touch like the 3DS.
Yeah.
And then if it's in the dock, you just scroll through it with a controller.
Well, and that's for games like Splatoon where if you're docked. When you're playing, did you play Splatoon when I sent it up to you?
I did a little bit.
Okay.
I'm terrible. Terrible.
Well, me too. But when you die and you want to get back in the action, you just tap on the screen, tap on one of your players on the gamepad to jump to them. And without the second screen experience, they have to have some sort of button combo for you to do that, which should be easy. Just scroll through names and click on them. But
yeah, I bet clearly we're seeing Splatoon on this. I bet they'll redo some of it for the new input. How they want to handle input, like, because this thing doesn't look like it has motion.
God, that's gonna be weird to not though, because if you want to play Splatoon without the Pro Controller, like put whatever that setup is, where you pull the Joy-Con off the tablet and put them onto that little disc to make your controller, not the Pro Controller, but whatever the base
you're just sliding on to make it a controller.
Yeah, but to play Splatoon, it's got to be motion control. So I can't see them not having motion control.
Really?
On the base game. No, I can't. I don't see them saying you're only going to play Splatoon with a Pro Controller or without motion control. I can't see it. There's got to be a gyro in there. That's my prediction.
Okay.
But I think that kills the battery, doesn't it, gyro?
It does. Yeah.
So I don't know.
I thought his motion controllers are gone.
Yeah. I mean, it would be nice because I really don't like motion control gaming, but in Splatoon, it's like the only one that makes it necessary in my view.
Yeah.
And pros too. Pro Splatoon players, for what there are of those, only play with motion controls. So it's exciting, and I like the fact that I don't know why, but it's a cartridge, and that makes me excited. and there was some deeper digging today in some stills of the thing. It looks like there's a micro SD slot, which would make sense. The rumors are that it's only 32 gigs on board, which is what the Wii U Deluxe Edition has. But if you get a micro SD slot, you expand that easily. So
yeah, I figured that they would just use SD cards.
Right.
It's worked well for the 3DS. So
yep. Well, and they've been using them.
Why not?
The Wii used it wasn't for extra storage, but it was for like save states or saving game or something like that. Yeah, so we're both sold. We both this might be for me, depending on the lineup, it's a 2017 purchase for sure. I just don't know if it'll be a March or a November purchase.
It'll be a March purchase for me because Zelda is probably going to be out in March.
Oh yeah, and you can't play on the Wii U because you don't have one. That's right. Cool. All right. Anything else on the NX?
Not yet. I think this week I heard there is a
investors call.
So there's probably going to be some more tidbits coming out of that.
Right.
We'll see.
I hope a game or two, maybe. Something that was conspicuously absent was Smash, and they've got to be porting that to this as well. So maybe they're saving that for later.
Yeah. I mean, they only want to show so many games.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. All right. So when we come back from the break, we will be talking about the rest of the news. So stay right there, and we will be right back. All right, my friends, welcome back from the break. Anthony and I here I can't speak English. Anthony and I are here to talk about the news. I guess I'm so excited I'm tripping over myself. First piece of news is Red Dead Redemption 2. It's not like Red Dead Reloaded or Red Dead Rukabuka, whatever. It's just Red Dead Redemption 2. I guess there's a pedigree to that name now.
There is. I don't think most people think of Red Dead Revolver at all anymore.
Exactly.
So,
the video,
so yeah.
the video, like, okay, it's beautiful. It looks good.
Yes.
Apparently, it's running on a PS4. Like, it looks fucking fantastic, especially compared to kind of like the dry, empty, lonely Red Dead Redemption 1 now. But I don't know a goddamn thing about the story, and that's what draws me into these games. So.
The only thing I can get out of the story is that there's 7 people in the poster.
Right.
And the stream, which I'm like, is this going to be a magnificent seven samurai-esque type story?
Right.
Which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's pretty standard Western setup. So that's about as much as I can get from a story stand front.
Well, and people are saying that it might be a prequel. John Marston, when he was back with the gang before, the events of Red Dead Redemption. I don't know if I want to see a prequel. Just like, let's move forward with the story as it is. I mean, I have no idea how Red Dead Redemption ends. I don't know if John Marston dies. I haven't gotten that far. I have no fucking idea. So I don't know if there's a way to continue his story. But the voice, wasn't there a video where we heard voice acting? And it wasn't the guy. It wasn't the John Marston's voice.
No, I haven't read it in forever, but Polygon did a really big article
on that guy.
A long time on that guy.
Yeah, I read that.
He did that, and then he just doesn't do voice acting anymore.
Yeah, he walked away.
Yeah, so I'm like, there's a good chance I'm like, maybe he's not coming back.
Right.
Maybe they don't. He's like, nope, I'm out.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. From that story, that article, it was something like he thought he would be getting more work or something like that, or he was taken advantage of, or Hollywood was shitty, or I don't know what it was.
Yeah, he basically just sounded like he was not. It wasn't really something he wanted to continue.
Right.
Like,
well, if you look at the Nintendo Switch YouTube video and this video, Red Dead Redemption 2, this one has nearly 7 million views, and the Nintendo Switch has 19 million views. So I wonder if Rockstar was not super happy that Nintendo came in and said, we're going to show our trailer on this day as well, because this one got subsumed.
It really did. I mean, it made its rounds, but the Switch just drowned it out.
Mm-hmm.
And has continued to drown it out, really.
Yeah.
But the trailer, Red Dead Redemption 2, as you brought up, it really just is showing, look, it's pretty.
Yep.
We're making it, but there's not a whole lot.
Right. Well, and here's the release date.
There's not a whole lot of substance
to
really dig into. And it comes out next fall.
Fall 2017.
So 1 year from now.
Yep. Yeah, I felt the same way. It's pretty. Just shut the fuck up about this game. We're doing it. It's coming out. Just leave us alone.
Yeah. I figure E3 they'll do.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be 6 months before launch. So they'll be like, here's a story trailer or just an extended look at the game.
Right.
So
cool beans. Well, it's exciting. Hopefully I'll finish the first one before that one comes out, but that doesn't seem likely. Speaking of voice actors, the voice actors are on strike.
And let's bring it up, only about 25% of the voice actors are on strike.
That's right. The SAG-AFTRA performers are on strike. So the games don't use a lot of them, apparently.
No, I mean, this is one of the things that when this was... Because this has been going on for about a year and a half now, leading up to this.
Right.
So it happened. Honestly, I'd forgotten about it for a long time. Because it was about September last year when it kind of bubbled up into some news I was reading. And then it went away. And now it's back. And the SAG-AFTRAs they're going to strike.
Yep.
And we'll see how much this actually will affect things.
I mean, as a union member myself, I hope that it does affect things because I think so as far as I understand, there are like 4 main things that they're asking for. One, vocally stressful situations or recording sessions are limited to 2 hours.
Yep.
They learn ahead of time, like about the characters and how the character relates to the game and the kind of overarching story of the game. Because apparently there were situations where people recorded voice work for a game and the contract didn't state what the game was or how their voice was going to be used, and they found out that they were in games like Kill All Faggots, and they weren't very happy about that, obviously.
Yeah.
I can't remember the third one, but the fourth one is about residuals. So after 2 million games, they get like what 2% or of something. It basically works out to like $900 per voice actor for every, I don't know, X amount of units sold.
Yeah,
Kind of makes
that was
sense.
the basic thing.
Yeah.
A lot of it was made some sense. Like the working condition one, I'm like, yep. Residuals, I'm like, I don't know. Certain games where I feel like they deserve it. Some games I'm like, probably not. You're not making this game sell millions of copies. Like, at all. So, like, Civ 6 came out this week.
Right.
Civ 6 is going to sell millions of copies. Sean Bean narrates the entire thing.
Yes.
But it's funny because they never put his name anywhere.
Right.
In the game. The only reason I know it's Sean Bean is because I know what Sean Bean sounds like.
Right.
But I'm like, that's not actually selling millions of copies of the game that he's narrating. Which is weird to me that they would actually like go out and get someone that big anyway.
So you're saying, let's take The Expanse for example. I'm not watching The Expanse for those particular actors, so they shouldn't get residuals.
No, I'm saying are you playing? TVs and games are different, and movies are different.
Yeah, except for they're trying.
So let's go Uncharted. I would say, yeah, those voice actors probably do deserve it because that's a very story-driven game that their performance is very important. Like I'm bringing up Civ 6, it doesn't need Sean Bean at all.
Right.
Like it could be non-narrated at all, and it would still sell millions.
Right.
The narration or not doesn't actually change.
I think I understand what you're saying, but I think it would be really difficult to like legally lay that out. Like this game, we don't need you to sell it, even though you're in it. Like how would you prove that basically? But in terms of it's different than games and movies. I mean, they're basing this strike off of what residuals actors are getting in games and movies.
And then that's where it comes down. Of course, in movies and TV, you go to them. They're billed like this person is playing this character. You see them on screen all the time, and even animated stuff.
The voices.
That's probably the voices is probably the better, like animated movies more than anything is probably the best thing. Where you're like, are you there for the voices or for the animation or both?
Right. But to bring it back to like The Expanse, like I would watch The Expanse because I like the books. I have zero idea who's in this show, but those actors get residuals. So are you saying that because we don't know who they are, they shouldn't get residuals?
I'm saying it seems weird to me that they get residuals. At all, really. I'm like, I get some actors do negotiate to get residuals. Like the big one, Robert Downey Jr. gets a percentage of every Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But he negotiated that himself.
Well, as far as I understand,
he was like, I will take a much smaller upfront salary, like $1 million, like really small, but I want 5%, gross.
Well, and so it was on him to negotiate down his salary to get the residuals. But if he didn't negotiate down his salary, he got the regular salary, he would have still got some residuals, just far less, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and I kind of feel like it would be more that way. Like small residuals, sure, can be in the contract, but if like you're in the place where you feel like you can do that and want to do that,
it makes more sense. Yeah, absolutely. I just think that the argument that I keep hearing about why this is, what people are pissed off about this or are not, supporting the strikers is that the game artists, the designers, the developers, the team leads, all those people, they don't get residuals. They just get, obviously they might get a bonus, but that's basically dependent upon the company to do that. But they get their salary and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it works the same way with movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at how many thousands of people work on a movie.
Right, and who's getting
how many
residuals?
Of those people actually get residuals?
That's right. So for me, that's more reason why it's not an argument to not support the strikers for this, because well maybe not everyone's gonna get a residual, and if other people want a residual, maybe they should unionize to be able to fight for their wages. It's a tactic that's used against unions in education and other spheres as well. Like, we don't have that, so you shouldn't have it. Like, well, join us in the union or unionize yourselves so that you can fight for these things, because you can't fight for it individually unless you're Robert Downey Jr.
I mean, you get certain size. Like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of directors
Yeah,
negotiate that stuff up as well.
Absolutely.
They're just like, oh, you want me as a director? Okay, then I want. It's been a big tact of Marvel, actually,
to
to get
get
some of the bigger names.
Right.
Is that they'll work with them to get a certain percentage of gross
Right.
to entice them.
well, and you need some form of gravity. It's either
Yeah.
a lot of people or it's name recognition or something.
Yeah.
What-
This is the thing, though. Like, the SAG-AFTRA is just not where this isn't probably going to make much of a difference.
It's not a big enough group of people.
It really isn't. So
Right.
many people that do voice acting aren't. It's really hard to join, like, the Screen Actors Guild.
Hmm.
Like, it's not like any person can just go join it.
No, of course not. You have to have I think you have to have like a certain amount of jobs or a certain amount of pay
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a hard situation where it's like, I see some of the stuff people saying, they're like, oh, this is to, like, help the non super recognized people,
Hmm.
but those people aren't going to be part of SAG anyway,
Right.
which is kind of sad. But I don't know. I've known people that have gone to LA to join different, like, they're wanting to, like, go into different show business stuff, and their horror stories of trying to get guild representation has
Right.
been sad in some ways,
Hmm.
because then they get pushed to these jobs that don't pay anything, or
Right.
they can't bargain or negotiate.
Right.
So, but for affecting games, this probably won't, because any game that was in development from February or March 2015, something like that, the voice actors can't strike on those games.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's honestly, if a game dev cycle is usually 3 years, it's a lot of games.
Right. So we're not going to see if there are effects, we wouldn't see them for several years.
Yeah, and honestly, the games that would be affected, they haven't even started thinking about who would be voicing who.
Uh-huh.
So that's the thing here. There's not enough people there that the publishers will just go to different groups to get voice actors.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crappy. I don't know. I don't know why there are so few guild represented, beyond it's hard to get guild representation. But
Yeah, I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that it's hard to get steady work, maybe.
yeah.
So, I mean, there are definitely the people, Nolan North or Jennifer Hale,
Yeah.
and I think they're both in this SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah,
So I
no,
think-
they've done a lot of work, though.
That's the thing, is that the ones who've done a lot of work are in it, so it's hard to get a lot of work, perhaps. Maybe that's steady work, at least. I don't know. And
Yeah.
that's the John Marston guy, that he found that out.
It is.
So, yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. We'll see what comes of this. I mean, it's only 11. It's 11 of basically the AAA publishers.
Hmm.
So, looking at that, this won't affect indie developers. This won't affect if an indie developer could actually afford these
I was going to say
people.
the price is probably prohibitive to get those kind of voice actors anyways.
Yeah. So,
Listen, it's an interesting story because when, my wife and I got home from softball and it was about to head upstairs to start recording the podcast, my wife grabbed me, and she never talks about the podcast with me because I don't think she cares at all. She's like, "You guys should talk about the strike tonight, right?" And I was like, "How?" She's like, "The Screen Actors Guild strike with video games." I'm like, "How in the fuck do you know about that?" So it's
not the whole Screen Actors Guild either.
No, of course not.
It's this weird, because originally last year I was like, Screen Actors Guild, the whole thing, and then I read more and I was like, oh, okay. It's a subset
Right.
of the Screen Actors Guild. Which I wish I could find a bigger list of who's in it. It's hard to find exactly who's there. I've been wondering, some of the voice actors.
I'm trying to figure out what the AFTRA stands for, and I'm not finding it. I should have looked before I got on here. Screen Actors Guild. Oh, there we go. Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. So that's not even. I don't know. The two great American labor unions, Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. So it's the movies and the TV and radio. Seems like that's everyone.
Okay.
And they're part of the AFL-CIO. So.
So many things. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I hope that they find resolution. You know, they definitely should. There was another woman who found out that when she came into the booth, that she was going to be doing sex scenes, and she's like, "I'm not doing sex scenes." Like, oh well, it'd be nice to know ahead of time what we're supposed to be doing, so we can say yes or no.
It's true. I do know that they just make them sign a big NDA that you'll burn them to the ground if they leak anything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically how you have to do it. Because I know a lot of that is mostly from more of a, like, we don't want people knowing what we're working on because it's still going to be years before it's out.
Right.
Which you saw with Fallout 4. Had the leak years before that they were recording voice acting stuff that dealt with Boston, and that was leaked. Probably like a year and a half before the game was ever announced.
Well, there's something else. I forget which voice actor it was who is famous for leaking stuff because he doesn't care, and I can't remember who it was. Oh, I think it was Goofy, the voice actor for Goofy for Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. So
I kind of feel like, yeah, you should just sign pretty mean contracts there that, like, yeah, you don't get to say anything about this.
Right.
Here's what you're making it for, but you don't get to say a damn thing about this. You do, you forfeit a chunk of your money, or you're out and we'll just re-record you.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah,
because I know a lot of it has to deal with that. Like, they don't want people to leak that these games are in production.
Right. And that's, I think, maybe is what's hard about working with new voice actors who are just so excited and giddy about maybe working on something that they might leak, so they don't use new ones. I don't know. It's all speculation. I have no idea. That's why Nintendo doesn't do voice acting.
So many games don't.
Yeah.
It's expensive. It's really expensive.
It is. And I feel like it's a lot harder to program in than text over the video. I don't know.
Yes. Because guess what? If your dialogue needs to change, you have to get it re-recorded.
Yeah, and you've got to match it up with, like, the lips moving and all that shit. So.
Oh yeah, it's a much more challenging thing.
Yeah. All right, so that's the Voice Actors Guild strike, and the next piece of news. Help me out here, Anthony. I'm missing it. Oh no, that was it. That's all the news.
That was it.
Yeah. All right.
Really, I mean, the Switch dominated this week, honestly.
Yep. Yeah, which is awesome. So exciting. So when Anthony and I come back, we're going to talk about the games that we're playing. So hold on to your hats, and we'll be right back. All right, Ant, we're back. We're talking about the games that we've been playing this week. Let's start with you. You're back into Stardew Valley, huh?
Yeah, just playing a little bit more. Since the patch, I played it a little bit like 2 weeks ago, and then this week I just wanted something to relax to for a couple nights for this week. It's awesome. The new patch just adds more. If you like Stardew Valley, it's just more Stardew Valley.
Does it add? Is this the patch where you can start in, like, different towns, like a mining town?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Your farm can be different
Right.
terrain. Yeah, and it adds just a whole slew of fixes and content updates to, like, some new buildings you can build like little shacks, basically, little shelters to, like, I've seen people posting pictures that they're, like, building one and you can put whatever you want inside of it, and so they're, like, making it a distillery. That's where they brew all their beer or their wine is in there. Like, it just adds more things for people to be creative with. So it still holds up as a game that's just, you're just like, man, this game has so much just heart in it.
Yeah.
Far more than you see out of most games. You're just like, the guy making this just cares. He really just cares about this game.
What a success story. God.
Yeah.
And that came out.
I met him at PAX.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah, he was at his booth, and I just went up and talked to him for a little bit. And
I love your game.
Kind of was like, it was mostly just like congratulating him on the success and on getting to be successful on a game that he clearly was a game that he really wanted to exist. Like, no one was making this game, so he just made it.
Right.
And clearly a lot of other people wanted that game. And he was just talking to him, like, it was very much just, when you see a lot of games that are those kind of success stories, it's one person or a small group that are just like, we want to make a game that we love, or that we don't feel other people are making that we want to play. And a lot of times that works out to, there are other people that want to play that game.
Of course. And that's, kind of speaks to the heart of the game. Like, that's how you get the heart, because it's something, it's like a passion project.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he's a multimillionaire now. So.
Oh, of course. That's, yeah.
Someone doing multiplayer, he was saying, like, that will be out sometime. He's hoping into this year, maybe beginning of next year, that there would be a multiplayer version of it. Mm-hmm. The PS4, Xbox One ports are coming. Maybe Wii U. I have to look up on that one.
Wow, it'd be weird. Put it on the Switch instead.
Oh, the Stardew Valley subreddit already had a picture of, like, this is the only game I want on here, and they had photoshopped Stardew Valley
onto Switch.
Onto Switch, and I'm like, sold.
Yeah, totally. That's such a great idea.
I could see them kind of, like, the thing is, the Switch is gonna be running. It will be in an x86 processor.
Yeah.
Rough, like the NVIDIA thing. So.
And is it a Unity game? Is it a?
No, it's a mono develop is the thing. It's the same thing that Bastion was originally programmed in.
Oh, okay.
There's games out in, like, a lot of 2D games use it. Mm-hmm. And it's, people have figured out how to port it to everything. So, like, it's on Mac now, and it's on all the different platforms. So getting it onto Switch probably won't be a hard thing.
Then that's the barrier for the Switch, man. If they can if it's an easy, it's obviously not a save as, but if it's easy, then I'll get the games on it.
So did that, and then Friday night I learned that Season 8 started in Diablo 3.
Oh, damn.
So I started playing that Friday night, and I'm at level 64 Crusader now.
What? Since Friday?
Yeah, I've only played it like 5-6 hours.
Holy shit. I didn't realize
I kind of understand how to get through it now, so just playing adventure mode with bounties and everything. Mm-hmm. Just, I don't know, the season thing, I was like, sure, let's do this again. And then I'll do it for like a week or two, and then put it down, and then in 3 more months, I'll do it again.
It's a great way to get people to come back and play.
Yeah, although next week, 2 weeks, is BlizzCon, and we'll see what's in store for the Diablo franchise.
Okay, so the rumors I've heard is either Diablo 4 or a significant expansion to 3. Any bets?
I'm going to say a significant expansion to 3.
Okay. Which is
honestly,
fine.
I just don't feel like they're ready to go to 4 yet. I could be wrong. They might want to be like, all right, time. But if they announce it now, I mean, it's still going to be years before you get 4. So they're not just going to leave 3 in a lurch either. So maybe it's both.
Yeah, if it's going to be years for 4, I don't want to hear it. I don't like years of hype anymore. Just tell me eventually when it's ready. Because I waited forever for 3.
Yeah, so I don't know if they need to do a 4 in some ways right now.
Yeah, this is still pretty healthy.
It is very healthy, and they've clearly has a substantial player base that likes new content, and so it's still Diablo 3. It's power fantasy completely and totally, just wrecking things. So
pretty awesome.
Nothing new there, but it's still fun.
Yeah, cool. For me, I also played a Blizzard game. I played Overwatch last Sunday, actually, when we finished talking. I loaded up the new, the update, basically. Played the, I forget what it's called, like Dr. Junkrat, or I forget what it is.
Yeah.
But it's the PvE,
Co-op
basically.
mode.
Yeah, it's a horde mode, basically. And it was rad. I played for like an hour and a half.
Nice.
Just because we kept getting close to the end and didn't quite get there, so I kept trying. And, you're playing with random people online, and you're basically just hordes of zombies, and um, ghosts, and then there are 4 characters who are dressed up like Dr. Frankenstein as the monster. Mercy's there as like a devil angel or whatever, and I forget who the 4th person is. Oh, Reaper. Reaper's there. And it was fun. Kept getting rewards, and it was a nice loop. I got a couple of chests because I played enough to get a couple of chests and got a couple of Halloween skins, so that was fun. Kind of wish I could just buy the skin that I want, but I probably wouldn't anyway, so it's fine. Just kind of get the random crates.
I assume there's plenty of players playing.
There were,
It was super easy to get games going. For the
most part, after like an hour, I had to wait like 5 minutes to get into another game, so it did take a while. I was kind of surprised, actually. But yeah, after 5 minutes, it happened again. A game happened again, and I was back in. But yeah, that was a little weird. But for an hour, it was easy as hell. And then maybe it was midnight, so maybe people were asleep. I don't know.
I mentioned that, and then I have like 10 people online on my Blizzard BattleNet friends, and 3 of them are in Overwatch right now. So
there you go. Anecdotal evidence, still popular.
I'm just like, yeah, okay, these guys are still playing.
The game's rad. It's definitely it's a rad game. I just have so much to play.
Yeah, because these next 2 games.
Oh my god! So I can't even remember. Was I playing Uncharted 2 last week or no? Did I start this last?
You were playing it. You hadn't beat it yet.
Okay, so
You were expecting that you would be beating it very soon. I believe.
That's right. You're right, and I did.
And you did, because you posted that on
you're
Twitter.
Totally right.
You shared the end with the tears in the jar.
Oh my god, seriously. So
the writing is so good.
It is. Like, the Uncharted 2 writing was unreal. It really made me love that game. That's what I loved that game so much. The writing was smart, funny, and like made me feel something for the characters, which Uncharted 1 obviously didn't. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I beat Uncharted 2 this week. It was I could not put that game down. I played like 2 more nights, and then I beat it. I've been staying up till 1 o'clock playing that game in the morning, and then I just jumped right over to Uncharted 3, and it's good. Uncharted 2 is great. Uncharted 3 is good.
That's the thing. Uncharted 2 set the bar very, very high.
Holy hell!
And I don't think 3 never goes over that bar. There are points that meet it sometimes. It's just one of those things where you're just like, wow, 2 was just that good.
Yeah, it was that good. And I'm halfway through 3 now, where I've met up with Elena again, and Charlie, I guess, just broke his leg jumping off of some building, and he got mind controlled for a minute or 2. I'm literally halfway through because there's 22 chapters, and I've just beaten. I've beaten 12 actually. So I'm a little over halfway. I'll beat it this week for sure, but I don't find myself compelled to keep playing it like I did 2. Like, I could not stop playing 2.
The pacing in 2 was very good. It just kept you on the edge of your seat. Just like, I want to see what happens. 3 didn't have that as much.
Well, 3's slower. I don't find the villain that compelling in 3, and also that coherent.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of guys in black suits, and this Talbot guy. I don't really. Him and Marlowe. I don't really care that much. But I like when we met with Elena, she's having Nate think about what he's doing to Sully, basically, by continuing to chase this whatever. And there's, hinting about Elena and Nate, like maybe having been engaged or something, or married, because she's wearing a ring.
Yep.
That they talk about. I love their interaction. Like, the first half of the game where Elena wasn't in it, I didn't care as much. Now she's in it, I care a lot more.
Yeah, I'll be interested if you go through that and just start. I will be interested if you start Uncharted 4.
I will start.
Because I think Uncharted 4 is my second favorite in the series. It goes 2, and then 4, then 3, then 1.
I imagine that I will start 4 as soon as I finish 3.
Because 4 is the core relationship between Nate and Elena is front and center for a lot of the game. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'll be interested. It does some interesting things there. And I feel they write that relationship better than any game really writes any relationship. Like, it feels real.
So for me, the relationships in The Witcher were the best relationships I've seen in a game. Does it touch that?
I feel like the four, once you finish 4,
Mm-hmm.
yes, the relationship is probably the best portrayed relationship
Awesome.
I've seen in a game. Better than like it just doesn't feel like there's anything forced. It's just
right.
These two people that have known each other for a long time. This is how they act.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. There's in jokes. There's knowing what the other person just. You look at them and you're like, okay, these people have known each other a long time.
Right.
They just kind of, once you're around a person long enough, you just kind of know what they're thinking. They can just give you a look and you know exactly what they're thinking.
Right. Yeah,
and they really pull that across where you're just like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I really appreciate about the writing is that it's not forcing anything. It's not, I don't know, making the character say things because that's what a story should say at this point. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's just so engaging and so compelling. And I like the Charlie edition. Chloe is just so one-dimensional. I don't really care about Chloe. Yeah. And I don't think we're supposed to, but whatever. So that's great. Another game I played this week, we had some friends over on Saturday to play the Jackbox Party Pack 3. It came out on Tuesday. There's a bunch of new games. It's Quiplash 2, which is not new. But then there's Trivia Murder Party, which basically you're trying to escape a serial killer by answering trivia questions. And if you get the question wrong, you get to play these kind of almost like Mario Party-esque mini games to get back to stay alive, basically. There's one called Gaspionage, which is basically Family Feud. Asks a question like, what percentage of Americans have done this, or percentage of people have done that, and one person has to guess the percentage, and then you have to say whether it's higher or lower, which is pretty fun. There's a TKO game where you draw a T-shirt slogan, and then you write a bunch of clever things, and they mix and match them to see what, you vote on which one's the funniest or whatever. But that one kept crashing. Every time we'd spend like 5 minutes drawing and then 3 minutes writing down text, and the room would crash. And then we'd try it again, and it would crash again. So we never got to play that one. The last one's called Faking It, where you...
That's a warning to people trying to play it.
Yeah, it's...
good warning to people. Like, stay away from that one for the time being.
We couldn't get it to play at all, which kind of sucked. And then the last one's Faking It, where everyone gets a prompt sent to the device, the same prompt, except for one person. And then you all do something physically in the room. And then the person who doesn't get the prompt has to watch everybody and kind of figure out what people are doing, and then everyone else guesses who the fake person is. So you're like, trying to convince each other who the fake person is, throwing people off the trail. That one was really fun because you're doing a lot of interaction with each other, talking to each other, which the other games are more screen oriented. But the best thing about the new packs is that you can create your own questions. You can create your own prompts. So my wife and I, the night before, made a series of 40 questions about our friends. Things like, Grindr's servers are down for 72 hours. What does this person do? Or if this couple's life was a sitcom, what would be the title? Or things like that. And one for mine was, two of them for me was, what's Angie's nickname for Larry? And then people had written Fuckface McGee or Red. That was pretty funny. And the other one was like, what's Larry's favorite position? And
that was so good.
Karen was trying to, my wife was trying to get at like softball position or teaching, like, I don't know what the hell she's trying to get at. And everyone took it in the sexual direction, which was...
Well, of course.
Yeah, that's what
How else were you going to take that question?
I know. It was pretty funny. So, I mean, that was the funniest of the night because you could personalize questions for people in the room. And we were dying laughing. Those games, those Jackbox Party Packs are the best party games I've ever played. They're amazing. I'll never play another game in a party situation. Like, people request us to host parties to play those games. They're so rad. So that's what I've been playing this week.
I mean, I have memories of college just going to people's room and we play You Don't Know Jack.
Yeah.
For hours.
Mm-hmm. And that was in the first party pack, which, so the Trivia Murder Party is like that, but you're being followed by a serial killer. So they basically morphed You Don't Know Jack into like a Halloween theme kind of thing. Okay.
But either way, I mean, this company has just been doing it for
ever. They've got it nailed right now. They've had, one party pack a year, and it's just
Yeah.
fucking awesome. And this one you can do audience participation up to 10,000 people. Yeah, it's really cool.
I wish I could have joined on that part, but I had a birthday party to take care of.
Nah,
so.
it makes sense. And we realized that the only way that you could join is if I was actually streaming it. I didn't know I had to stream it. So when our friend had to leave early, went home, and then we're like, "Oh, join us. Here's the room code." And he's like, "Oh, I can't actually see the pictures on the screen." Like, oh, we had to stream it for people to play, which I didn't know. So you wouldn't have seen anything anyways because I wasn't streaming.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Next time.
So for next week, I'll be playing Uncharted 3, of course, and then Batman Telltale Episode 3 comes out, so I'm going to play that as well.
Nice.
So I'll share those games next week. And when Anthony and I come back from the break, we're going to talk about how the internet was broken. So stay right there. We will be right back. All right, my friends, welcome back from the break. On Friday, which was October 21st, I believe, the internet exploded.
It did. That was a weird. I got into work. What did I do? I was trying to go to some web page. I can't remember what it was. And I think it was just Twitter. I got in. I was like, I want to load up Twitter, and it was just like DNS error. Okay, let's try Google. That worked. Let's try Facebook. That worked. Twitter. No, DNS error. And then I started looking online. Like usually when I see that, I'm like, okay, time to do some digging. And then I saw this thing, that there was a big DDoS attack on the major DNS host for the entire internet. Right. And DNS is the thing that translates Twitter.com into an IP address that a computer can actually connect to.
Right.
Like that's all it does. It just routes people through things to the computers that are giving them the content that they want. So that's dying DNS was completely destroyed, basically, for most of the day.
Yeah, if you hit that with a DDoS attack, there's no way people can get transferred through to the website they're looking for.
Nope.
And I shudder to think this is a test for November 8th when someone's going to try to disrupt our voting.
It's possible. Although most of that stuff isn't...
Right, that kind of
isn't
thing.
Networked.
Right.
Like,
thank God.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good reason of why you wouldn't do
online
voting through the internet. Mm-hmm. Online voting. Like, people are like, oh, it's more secure. Like, it's actually not more secure.
Right.
Paper ballots, more secure.
Yep.
It's a paper trail will always be more secure.
Right. Especially for voting. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, I mean, you look at the sites that were down, like...
There's a whole list here.
CNN...
Etsy.
Yeah,
Grubhub,
HBO Now.
Yeah. iHeartRadio, Imager, PayPal. Thank God, PayPal.
Yeah.
PayPal's the devil.
It is. I agree.
Peter Thiel is just going off the deep end right now.
Pretty much.
Oh my God. He said today that rape allegations were just belated regret.
Okay, I was taking a drink right then, and good thing I didn't spit that out on my computer. But
Peter Thiel is a fucking asshole.
Sure. Okay.
And it says
okay. Reddit was down.
Yeah, Reddit was down. I didn't
for some of it. Like they got back up.
Yeah.
Quicker.
Starbucks rewards gift cards, huh? Squarespace was down.
Yep.
Ancestry.com, Constant Contact, Kayak, YouNeedABudget.com.
I use that.
Do you really?
Yeah, that's smart budgeting program. I don't use their website, but I do use You Need a Budget. I highly recommend that one for people that need a budget.
No, I was totally laughing because I thought it was just like a...
No, it's actually how I got it was it's on Steam.
Oh, okay.
And at one of the sales, they like discounted it like 75%. It wasn't through it was a weird thing where it was like the featured sale was not a game. It was this budgeting software. Mm-hmm. And me and my wife had been looking for a budgeting software for something because Mint wasn't doing what we wanted it to do.
Yeah.
And so we looked at this thing, and yeah, we've been using it now probably for a couple of years.
That's how you keep track of all of your expenses, basically.
Yeah, we do have used that for budgeting for a while. Like, here's how much. That's how I know when I'm, because there's a phone app, so you can just enter as you use things, and it shows you what your new total for that, how much you have left in that category for the month.
What's your What's your monthly gaming budget?
There's not a fixed.
Oh, okay.
Just at the beginning of the month when we make our budget, I just kind of have a list of things that I like put down everything that I might want to get gaming in the month, prioritize that list, and then go, all right, what do I feel comfortable spending in the month?
Well, my wife and I are starting to, budget for. I'm not ready to explain why.
For the future.
Yeah, basically. There's, we need a budget, and I was like, I'm gonna do like X amount of dollars per month because I spend quite a bit on like T-shirts and games and media and whatever else. And she just looked at me and laughed. She's like, "That's so ridiculously low. You're not gonna stick to that. How about you raise it up a little bit?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, thank you."
There's some minimal stuff. Like I have a lunch budget basically, like which is just a general spending thing, which has been about $80 a month. Which is like, that's where my lunches can come from. Like, I don't go out to lunch that often, but I can do that. I'll put cheaper Steam games in there if I feel like it.
Right.
Maybe a pack of Netrunner cards when those come out. But like bigger things, like, so November's coming up. Like, all right, what pre-orders do I have? Pokemon Sun and Moon. So that's definitely one I'm getting. And then I have Final Fantasy 15. With Kingsglaive getting completely destroyed in reviews, I'm probably dropping that.
You mean the movie?
Yeah.
Really?
The Kingsglaive movie has gotten so panned. It's got a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Holy hell.
So I'm just like, I don't think I need that movie. Let's just cancel this special edition and just get a normal edition of the game.
Just get the game, yeah.
Yeah. So I think those two are the things that are bubbling up. I'm like, those are the higher priority things that I want to budget for. And then there's a couple other miscellaneous things. December, I'll budget, most of my budget will just be for the Steam Christmas sale.
Yeah, I'm almost, so I've canceled several pre-orders because basically all my money is going to go toward like the Black Friday sales on the PSN network or Xbox Live network, and then the Steam sale. There are like a ton of games at the beginning of the year that I just didn't buy because I knew they'd be cheap at the end of the year, and I have a ton to play already. So I'm not going to pay $60 now and not play it when I can pay $30 or $20 later and buy it when I'm ready to buy it. Far Cry Primal is on top of my list.
Nice.
I refused to pay full price for it at the beginning because I knew I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't play it at that point, but I'm getting ready to. I have a 6-week Christmas break that's going to be full of games.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
As long as the internet stays up.
Single player game, man. Oh, you mean in terms of buying the games? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's true.
This thing brings up, I'm just like, man, was there ever, I haven't seen anything like anyone take credit for it.
The Downing in 2014?
Yeah.
That was Lizard Squad. They took credit for it.
No, for this one on Friday.
For this one. Yeah, no, you're right.
I haven't seen anyone that's been like...
That's why I'm worried. Like it's Russian hackers or I don't know.
Well, you did see that's being done by like webcams and things like that.
Yeah, I didn't understand how that was.
So there's a manufacturer of webcams in China that they're really insecure. I mean, and everything they have a processor in them. So it's basically kind of a virus. It's just a backdoor into those devices that then you can execute your own code. So they just and they have IP. Those cameras have IP addresses, like they exist on the web. So they're basically just turning all these like low power, crappy processor devices into one giant spamming machine.
Crazy.
It's an insane. I mean, to me, like from a comp sci background, it's fascinating. But the only way that this could ever be solved is if they recalled all of these things, and there's millions of them out in the world. And so that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen, right?
This is what happens whenever now we're getting more and more connected devices.
Yep.
Like, you can get low-level security problems, and guess what? Now your device can be used. Your refrigerator is it connected to the internet? Because a lot of refrigerators are.
Right.
Guess what? If it has a low-level security problem, it could be used as a host to DDoS, different things. Welcome to the future.
Yeah. This is why you never watch porn and masturbate in front of a computer camera, because you never know who's watching.
Unless you don't care.
Unless you don't care. There's always that, unless you're an exhibitionist.
Yeah. You're like, there, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was quite the winding trail on this off-topic, starting with the DDoS, talking about budget, coming back to the DDoS, and then ending with masturbating in front of webcams. Perfect.
Seems about right.
Yeah, that's a good place to end it. Anthony, thank you so much for your time this week. Really enjoyed discussing these, especially the Switch, but all this good news this week.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week to hopefully talk about the Switch a little bit more if that investors meeting has any information.
Yeah, I'm curious on what's coming out of there and what other news is going to come out this week.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's going to be some more rumors leading up to BlizzCon.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, man. Well, thank you so
All
much.
right.
And I'll talk to you again next week.
Yep, sounds
right.
good.
See you later, everyone.
Good night.
Night.